The purpose of this video is to talk about the development process of NECRODUNGEON in my solo indie dev journey. Talk about what I like about the game, what I don't like, what I will make different next time. Uh, Summarize this experience, this 10-month experience, and yeah, it's a post-mortem. NECRODUNGEON was born from the idea of me solo developing a game, so passing through all the steps of a game development from 2D art, 3D modeling, animations, programming, sound design, music, everything, you know, was made by me. And I wanted to do it in a way that I could develop this game alongside my regular job. So I would have 4 to 6 hours a day plus weekends to work on the game. To develop this game, I choose Unreal Engine because I started my career as a VFX artist and I used Unreal Engine a lot. Today, in my regular job, I work with Unity, but by far Unreal is my familiar ground. It's like the engine that I have the most knowledge in. So instead of learning a new engine like Godot or working in an engine that I have knowledge but not that much like Unity and you know stay with Unreal, I prefer to use Unreal for this experiment. You can tell by the look of the game that I deconstructed Unreal Engine to achieve the kind of PSX retro vibe that I was aiming for. But yeah, I I used Unreal Engine because of the knowledge and the background I had, and it would be one last thing to learn in this process of developing the game by myself. Beside Unreal Engine, I used Blender to animate and model everything in the game. Even used Blender to create textures. So many textures, mainly the scenario textures, were rendered in Blender. Um, I use Substance Painter to paint the characters. So the characters in the game are painted by hand. Some of the items too. And I use Fruit Loops, FL Studio to not the cereal Fruit Loops, but the FL Studio to create the sounds and the music for the game. Also, uh, my mouth, because like some of the creature noises are just me growling in the microphone. And for the game, I wanted something simple that could be done in a 12-month frame. So I wanted I wanted to develop something cool that I would like to play, but simple, for this whole experience. And I really like RPGs, so I was thinking about a way to summarize an RPG experience in this game. And from that, I had this idea of a game where you have a lobby, and in this lobby you upgrade your character, and from the lobby you go into procedurally generated dungeons, and in the dungeons you level up and acquire more skills, and then you return to the lobby to upgrade other things in your character, and then you return to the procedural dungeon. And I thought of that with the leveling system of Vampire Survivors, where you to level up you choose from a random pool of 3 cards, and which the cards can be a new skill or an upgrade for a skill that you already have. And yeah, this is basically NECRODUNGEON. And the first thing that I made was the procedural dungeon system. So I spent a little time building this procedural generation stuff, and I learned a lot from that. I started to refine the idea, thinking about graphical style and yeah, lore and stuff like that. And this dark fantasy PSX style was trending, and it is trending, and I think it is really a really cool style, and a simpler style to develop. So this retro style, it's cool and simple to create. And yeah, then I thought, well, I'll make a dark fantasy dungeon crawler, procedural dungeon crawler, retro. And for the other RPG features that I wanted in my game, I used the NPCs. So, like in RPGs, you have in the leveling system attributes and skill trees, and you can decide if you're going to be a more tough guy but with less attack power, so be a tank, or if you're going to be a super powerful guy but with low HP, like glass cannon, a DPS. And for that, in the game, I had the idea to put a blacksmith where you can buy armor, and a librarian where you can upgrade your powers. And the way that the player would choose which type of character he wanted to be was through gold. So you get gold, and with gold, you have to choose if you buy armor, so you improve your HP, or if you buy upgrades and you get more powerful. So yeah, that was the way I found to summarize this experience of tracing, like build, beside the power builds which you have in this game, depending on the power that you got ranged powers, you got melee powers, you got support powers, you got trap like powers, so yeah, beside the powers that you choose the way that your character will be through gold. Also, in the game, there's a third NPC, which is the priest, and with the priest you can buy new spell slots. So like you start the game with 3 spell slots, and you can buy as many as you want. It tends to broke after 9, but you can try if you want. And testing the game, I saw that I wanted more than just procedural generated dungeons. I really want to have an experience. So I wanted to every dungeon to teach you something in a way, or add a little mechanic of its own. So like in the first dungeon, there is the regular enemies that crawl to you and attack. In the second dungeon, you are introduced to armor. So the enemies have armor. So like if you hit an enemy and you don't hit it again in under 5 seconds, the armor will regenerate. In the third dungeon, you are introduced to ranged enemies. In the fourth dungeon, you are introduced to barrels in the scenario that explode. So you can use the barrels to kill enemies, or the enemies can use the barrels to kill you. So yeah, I wanted every level to feel like to the for the player to feel that he's learning something, or that there's something new. Always a new enemy, always a new mechanic, always a new little thing. Besides from the only the like, oh, you were in a catacomb, now you're in the forest, now you're in the desert. I wanted something that would keep every dungeon uh, a new game, a new little thing. So yeah, I added that. Talking a little bit more of the leveling system. If you never played RPGs or Vampire Survivors, basically every time you kill an enemy, you get a soul in the game, which is the XP. And when you get enough souls, you level up. And when you level up, the amount of souls that you need to level up again increases. So you always need more and more souls to level up. And that's why I also added the librarian character, because like later in the game, you have to wait a while to level up and get an upgrade for a new skill that you just acquired. So in the librarian, you can upgrade a skill without leveling up. And for the story, I wanted something that would lead the player through different places. So like an explanation to why you're in a desert in a level and then you are in a snowy mountain in the other level. Something that would just, keep the player going. So I thought of this little story about a necromancer that cursed the world. And when he cursed the world, the heroes of this world united to kill the necromancer, thinking that by killing him, the curse would stop. But the heroes killed the necromancer and the curse did not stop. So now the world is cursed and there's nobody to uncurse it, because the necromancer was the only one who could uncurse it and he's dead. And then the world ends. Basically, all the heroes die. The civilization collapses. Undead are walking everywhere. So basically, uh, in the middle of this chaotic situation, a priest has an idea to retrieve every holy relic scattered around the world. And he uses you as this last hope. So he blesses you with this super powerful bless, and the bless is that you can turn the trapped souls of the undead into power. So that's why you get the souls of the undead, and then you level up. And yeah, you have to go around the world retrieving holy relics so the priest can make a ritual and resurrect the necromancer. And by resurrecting the necromancer, the priest can exorcise the necromancer, turn him into a good guy again, and then undo the curse. Make him undo the curse. So yeah, it's a story that keep the player going, and about not only defeating the evil, but making evil regret its deeds. So during the game, you go through various dungeons following this little story. So we have this linear procedural generation. What that means is that the first dungeon of the game will always be a catacomb, but the display of this catacomb is always different. So if you die and respawn, the catacomb will be different. If you restart the game, the catacomb will be different, but it will be always a catacomb. The third level of the game will always be a forest, and but the display of this forest is different. So like it goes through that linear sequence, but the dungeons are procedural. And the most different mechanic of the game, I think, is the way you get gold. You can get gold in regular ways. So if you like destroy boxes and items in the scenario, they can drop gold. But the main way you can get gold is by getting combo points. So every time you kill an enemy, you get one combo point. And when you reach a 5 combo point mark, all the enemies that you kill start dropping 1 gold coin. And if you reach a 10 combo points mark, all the enemies start dropping 2 gold coins. And like if you get the 20 combo, enemies will drop 4 gold coins, and so on and so on. So it's really nice to go rushing through the dungeon, killing enemies and seeing them exploding in gold, and then going back and collecting the coins. I think that's it for the game part. This is NECRODUNGEON. Kill enemies, level up, get gold, buy upgrades. Kill enemies, level up, get gold, buy upgrades. And yeah, NECRODUNGEON. When I launched the game, there were many positive comments, and it was mostly well received, but there was some issues, not issues, but features lacking, mainly quality of life issues, beside like silly bugs and some other more serious bugs. But the quality of life features were like there was no key rebinding in the game. There was no restart dungeon button. There was no way to sell the powers you had. There was no way to manually save the game. And I attribute all of that to the lack of playtesting, because during the development of the game, I was basically the only player. My girlfriend played the game a little, my cousins played the game a little, my friends too, but they were also as busy as I was with work and with other stuff. So in the end, I was the only playtester during the development. And it's not that I didn't knew that playtest was an important part. Like I watched that Valve documentary on Half-Life, and they say that, well, playtest is one of the greatest pillars in the game. You know, you have to always playtest from the beginning. But in my head, like the game was so simple that I didn't need that much playtest, you know? And the keys, they were perfect. And of course they were perfect because like I designed the game for me to play. So, well, there's no need for a key rebinding. It's so simple. And it turns out there was. Like, people preferred to play the game in other ways. So the saving system, yeah, I designed the game to save it when I thought it was the better place for the game to save. But no, like people want to have this freedom to save when they think is best, or like no button to restart the dungeon, because like why would you want to restart the dungeon? Things like that. And about selling the powers, when I launched the game, you couldn't, so you would be stuck with these powers till you end the game and restart the game. Because in my head, the powers were like a blessing from the priest. So why would you sell or delete a blessing that you got? And but yeah, no, in gameplay wise, makes no sense for you to carry something that like you don't like to the end of the run. So yeah, things like that. And that's the main lesson I am taking, is to play test the game. So if you're an indie developer, I know you know that, I knew it too, but like take it really serious. Play test your game from the start, from the very first mechanic you made. Play test your game. There were also a few gameplay comments too. A guy said, and I agree with him, that there was no need for the game to be procedural. And in the development of the game, I spent so much time building the procedural system and, you know, creating this and learning. But if I just, you know, crafted each level by hand, adding secrets, adding little chores to do inside the dungeon, so like get a key somewhere to open a door, to go to another place, it would be a lot cooler, I think, in the final result. And like I was so concerned with replayability during the development, but the thing is, a cool level is cool to be replayed, you know? So like I was thinking, then in this game you have lots of different builds. The tendency is for the player to play again and again, trying new spells, new combinations, new skills. And I needed to be procedural, I needed to be different every time. But no, the gameplay is already different because the spells, the skills you choose are different. So you're already playing this level in a different way. So if the level is cool enough, you know, that it won't be boring or, you know, bad to replay it. So that's another thing that I'm taking. Another commentary, which I also agree, is that the power upgrades aren't that diverse. So like all the upgrades in NECRODUNGEON are stat based. So like you upgrade a skill and it deals more damage. You upgrade a skill and the cooldown is lower. You upgrade a skill and it has more range. So the upgrades are all based on stats of the skill, and people wanted something more dynamic. So like imagine a power that you kill an enemy and then you get an upgrade that when you kill this enemy explodes, dealing damage to enemies around it. And then you got another upgrade that when this enemy explodes, if it hits other enemies, these other enemies explodes too. So more things like that and less things related to the stats. And I think there is room for stat-based upgrades, but there is a lack of, you know, diverse uh, and dynamic upgrades in the game. There were also comments saying that uh, the game was unbalanced. So there was this skill called Holy Water, which you drop holy water drops. You throw holy water drops. So the way this skill works is that you start by throwing one holy water drop. And one of the upgrades you can do is that you start throwing two holy water drops, then three, then four, then five, then six, and so on and so on. So that skill was really overpowered. It could one-shot bosses from the first boss to the necromancer himself if you took the right path upgrading it. So yeah, that's another thing that was like I knew that that skill was powerful, but I thought that that would be so rare to achieve an OP level with it. And another, blame on the lack of playtesting. Um, but yeah, it was funny but unbalanced. Since the launching of the game, I have made 15 updates, uh, fixing bugs, adjusting those quality of life issues, those gameplay issues, like balancing the skills, uh, adding the ability to sell the skills, and even this big update that I made, which adds a whole new level to the game. So when you finish the game, you now can choose which dungeon you want to play and keep upgrading the character forever. So like until you're bored, you can keep playing Necro Dungeon in a save and seeing different ways you can break the game by being too strong. But something that really called my attention, like something I wasn't expecting, was how much the community can help a game developer. Like I knew that for big companies, lots of people, you know, uh, comment on their games and suggest changes, and the community really helps build a better game. But I wasn't expecting for an indie game solo dev, no one like me, to receive many good suggestions from the community and bug reports and like people really willing the game to be better, you know. special thanks to Zero Supreme, or Supreme Zero, a guy that like I told him he is the greatest playtester on Masseliard, because the guy was always reporting bugs, always commenting, always helping me improve the game by giving good suggestions, calling my attention on the quality of life. And I always responded. Every review that I got, I responded. Every bug, I responded and tried to fix it as soon as I could. And I literally turned a negative review into a positive review. So this guy commented a bug and game breaking issues and um, quality of life problems on his negative review on Steam. I thanked him for the feedback in the review, said that I would update the game, and that the same day I went there, correct the bugs, and implemented the quality of life issues that he was saying, uploaded the patch, and the guy responded me like, "Oh, thank you. It's so good to see a hardworking developer." And he literally flipped his review from a negative to a positive review, and it made me so happy. And so yeah, if you are a developer, even if you're as small as I am, always keep track on the reviews, on the community, respond, be active. This is a thing that I wasn't expecting. There were also update fails. I saw a comment on a bug and I had to like patch the game, and it was late at night, but I tried to respond for the errors of the game as quickly as I could. So this time I packaged the game inside the folder and uploaded it to Steam, so no one could launch the game because the executable was in a folder that Steam was not expecting. Yeah, pretty bad stuff. Another time in this latest update, I forgot to package the new levels in the final game. So like I was, using the developer build to test it, to play it, and then I packaged the game for the shipping version, but I forgot to include those new levels in the shipping version. And I uploaded to Steam. Big announcement, new level, and no one could play the new level of the game. Uh, and yeah, pretty bad stuff. Those were the times that I thank God that my game was little and not many people played it. And well, now I have a big protocol of what things I should check before uploading a game to to Steam. When I launched the game, I had 300 wish lists, which is not nearly as much as they say you need to have for a minimal successful game. The magical number, they say it's like 7,000 wish lists. And yeah, I had 300 and launched it anyway. Because I had that 12-month frame and I was already in the 10th month. So yeah. And uh, I attribute that in the lack of marketing for the game. So like during the development, I had to, you know, work my regular job and develop this game all by myself. So I didn't had the time to create, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And it's not that I didn't had the time, but I prioritized developing the game instead of marketing it. And maybe that was a real bad choice. Because like, also, it's not that I didn't knew that, but I thought like, damn, I'm so like rushed to finish this game, and was so like into the process of development that I put marketing aside. So I started marketing the game pretty late in development. It's like two or 2 months before the release. This time is so crunched in my head, I can't tell which month was, but it was like the game was almost ready. There was few polishing things to include and to add to the game. And yeah, I had 1 or 2 months of reels, of TikTok posts, YouTube shorts, 2 trailers for the game. And yeah, I I blame it on me lacking on marketing the game since the beginning. It's like posting devlogs, posting content, and it's something that I'm really taking with me for my next experience, is to build community since day one and show everything or anything that I got for the project, like from the first character model, from the first idea, the mechanic, anything that I could show, I will show next time, and start to build this public from the beginning. And yeah, nothing new here. Like I'm not, you know, telling some big secret. I'm just saying that I knew that I had to do that. I didn't, and it didn't work. So yeah, start building your community for your indie games as soon as possible. And so when I launched the game, there was 15 copies sold in day one, which is like a flop. And I was kind of expecting that, because like there was 300 wish lists, and yeah, I knew the game wouldn't be a success or anything like that. So yeah, for me, the most valuable thing I took from this was this experience. It's a great like portfolio piece, a game that I developed by myself, and it's on Steam and anyone can buy it. And from the music to the 3D art to the programming to everything, it was all made by me, and I'm really happy and I'm really proud of it. Like I'm proud of the way that I dealt with regular job and like game development. So yeah, those were very important things, and I think I really improved as a person and as a professional doing doing this stuff. And even bureaucratic things like registering the game name, the company name, opening the company and registering it to Steam, creating the Steam page. Everything was like so valuable for me as a person. So like it was a great experience. It was worth it, and I'm doing it again. So for the future, I really want to upload devlogs every month here and in my site. I also want to improve my site, so I want to create this kind of hub of mine where I post everything that I do, eventually publish games there, and let people create their accounts on the site to comment on posts and stuff like that. But that's for a further future, because I don't want to depend on Steam and on YouTube and in other platforms forever. I want to be free. And the content that I'll be uploading on those devlogs will be related to the new game I started to work on, and eventually like some updates for NECRODUNGEON and other stuff. And yeah, if you like NECRODUNGEON, if you like indie games, buy NECRODUNGEON on Steam. I thought of like creating a Patreon or a Kickstarter or anything like that for the next project. But no, actually the best thing you can do is to buy NECRODUNGEON. And by buying NECRODUNGEON, you're helping me. And you're getting a full game, a cool little game you can play. And yeah, I think that's it for the video. If you like, subscribe to the channel, follow my site, and keep track on what I'm doing.